Okay, so we got these social workers coming back today, so whatever they said yesterday was one big fat lie. Yep. They want me to move all this, which is food, basically, in jars. Jars. These are canopies right there. Right? These are my papers. Anyway, they want this opened up for fire exit. Right? I guess you're going to have to move up. This. I sorted this out. This is just miscellaneous knickknacks that I was going to let Tisha go through. I didn't do the bathroom. They're coming back in a couple of hours. Yep. And they want me to move all this. This has been here forever. I'm going to move this. That's it. This is bullshit. I don't know what to say. People, it's a setup. I told them, City of Surrey was stage 1, right? In the process of the eviction. This is stage 2. They keep trying to say, no, it's not. I'm like, well, yeah, it is. Because you can't expect me to do things that's not feasible for us. So hold on. Okay, so they got us putting food outside. Yeah, that's what's happening here now. Let's do it. Right? If you're gonna go down swinging. Right? Serious, man. Oh, rickety fucking door. It might smash when I open it. I haven't opened it for a very long time because it's coming. The glass is coming out of its frame. I asked my landlady to fix it last year, but she didn't. She didn't. Yeah. So, I guess the paper can go outside too and get all wet. The paper can go outside and get all wet. Who cares about sourdough bread? Look at these tarps. Look how nice these tarps are. They're really nice and thick. But I'm going bankrupt. They're bankrupting me. Yeah, hold on a minute. Right? So yeah, I paid over $100 for these things. But I don't get no fucking help from my kids. What I get is them scattering around my shit. Right? Calling me this, calling me that. Picking fucking names. Huh?
Unlock it.
Martine wants you to feed Elsie. I said when you go down. Be careful. This is...
I know.
That's what I'm going to use that tarp to work on my leaky damn roof. I already talked to James last night about having somebody come by and I'll pay them to freaking do it. Yeah. If I can't do it, I'm hoping to be able to pay somebody to do it. What are you doing?
Give me some WD-40.
WD-40? Here we go. Open it up. All right.
WD-40 always.
This is put this on the deep freeze. Yeah, those are tarps for to do porch repairs with, to prevent the leaking, so my stuff doesn't get ruined. Yeah.
Well, we finally have the door open.
Yeah.
Once again.
Okay, so this is just jars.
Okay, so we're gonna open up that and we're gonna see if
Well, if you can make a spot right here, just move this stuff out of the way for now. Well, no, that's not going to be good enough. They're not going to be happy with that. Well, they can go down these stairs. So just whatever.
So
just put it. This is all going to be chucked out anyway because it's all ruined. So much is ruined, people. It's pathetic. So just clear out this corner. This is just boxes with jars with food in them.
I was just gonna go down there.
I was going to empty this out with the pots and pans.
I mean, I could put them in the corner over here.
Where?
So
At the bottom of the steps?
yeah, there's like a little corner right here. There's already this though.
Well, do what you want, Andre, but these are jars. No, because now that this is going to be moved, we're going to have Tisha go through the pots and pans and take out a bunch of pots and pans with home for her. And then a whole bunch of these pots and pans I was going to put in the shed. And then I was going to put these jars in there. So just move that for now.
Okay.
That's all garbage. It's all ruined because of the leaky fucking roof, man. That's my porch, people. Okay, this is my porch.
Really dirty.
Come on, they're coming back in a few hours.
And
I'm just saying. All this shit's molded and you can hear it, you can smell it. That can go down. That's for you with your little claw. Yeah, there you go. Okay. Take that box first. That's just all jars with food. I was gonna have Winnie go through these things after. But I'm giving Tisha a whole bunch of pots and pans. And then once the pots and pans have been gone through, I'm gonna take a whole bunch out, put them in the shed. Here's another one. Put them in the shed. And then that was gonna give me the shelf for my jars. But then what? Are they gonna tell me now to move this? Is that it? This has been here for years and years and years and years and years. Like they're evicting me from my house, people. Right? When they got you coming in here, start moving out all your stupid shit. Okay, these are jars that are canning jars that haven't been used. That could be used. So much for making call. And they want me to get a baby monitor, but leave Amari by himself and give him a baby monitor. Look at that. Here, take that box.
It work?
She's got jars in it because I was going to get a tissue pot. The same spot. In around the same spot. It's all just miscellaneous jars and shit. Here, let me put these measuring spoons in here. This is measuring spoon.
Turn off that Newy. Does it feed that Newy bill works?
What's that? There you go.
So put it on top of the
Yeah.
jars?
Yeah.
Oh god.
Now I can get to my pots and pans.
Okay.
I'm gonna give Tisha a whole bunch, whatever she wants. Hold on. All right.
It's just cleaning supplies.
$80 little shelf. Right? I'm not sure if I was gonna use it downstairs or upstairs for canning jars.
Well, looks like you're not gonna be using it for neither.
Well, no, I'm not using it right now for nothing. I'm putting it outside. Ain't that a bitch? $80 down the fucking drain. They keep saying that they're offering me services by having their certified so-called workers come in here and start manhandling my stuff and maybe put it in storage. And I'm like, well, how am I supposed to sell my clothes and my fabric or my homeschool stuff or anything I want to sell if it's all in storage? Like, give your head a shake, right? And, oh, well, what about, this and that? No, and, I already got somebody that I'm going to take a chance on. Winnie, right? I tried it with Rhea. They didn't care about that. They didn't care that she robbed me of $10,000 worth of my belongings. And I'm even willing to have another person come in and help me pay her whatever, right? And no, they're not satisfied with that. They want it now. They want their certified people coming in here helping me to move fucking cans of soup, people. Oh, move Amari's drinks away from the door, people. Okay? Like, come on, people. So yeah, Amari's fish, I can feel it. Fish and chicken claws. $100 worth of food going down the fucking drain. At this point, unless I get it in a freezer. This is crazy. And do you know I hired somebody last night? Started at $50 just to start pulling the morning glory in the back. And then, of course, it would have led on to other things. Seriously, yeah. So I got the fish to make the collagen for Amari. As I'm being told to lock him up into a room by himself and keep an eye on him with a baby monitor. When that won't work. That's what I'm telling you. They're going to put him in a fucking cage, people. And they're going to leave him by himself. They're going to have to pat it. Like, this is crazy. They've got me taking my food buckets down into the cold room outside. Yeah. So maybe we can lock that up. Or, I can't put this one here because this one doesn't have a lid. Like, this is fucked up.
Look at this.
Take that one. I can't give you this other one. It doesn't have a gamma lid on it.
Which one?
This one has no lid. Mice will get into that for sure.
Put one on it.
I can't. That one doesn't have a lid.
Put a piece of carpet on it and just duct tape it.
No. They'll chew through it, Andre. And I got another one here that I spend hundreds of dollars on good food, thousands of dollars on good food, really thousands of dollars on good buckets. And because I got a couple of buckets here that don't have lids, if I put them outside, now that's just asking for trouble. These ones here I wanted to keep because they have the stuff that I want for Amari. So just take this down for now so I can put those two here. Okay? At least for now. Because those ones don't have...
This?
I have buckets downstairs with gamma lids.
Free.
I have buckets downstairs with gamma lids downstairs. So if I need to change the buckets and take the buckets out and put them outside with the food in it, I suppose I can do that. Right. This is an eviction, people. And okay, so I'm going to go into a 2-bedroom basement full of mice, like Rio lives in. Yeah? And it will have plumbing problems, electrical problems, all kinds of problems. And, you know, no housing, yeah, and then they'll come and they'll complain about that. Okay, so most of everything in here is food. Is it illegal to have food? Is it illegal to have food? This is what they wanted cleared out. Okay, so as you can see how things get ruined out here, right? What is this? Take that down to the, okay? That's screws and stuff. You're gonna need that when we're doing repairs.
Yeah, definitely.
Outside repairs, huh?
Definitely want to repair this whole thing.
I know that. This is the big one. Look what's happening here. Okay, take it down quickly.
You gonna point at that one?
Yeah, I know, Andre. Please just take it down. Okay, we'll rebox it another day. That's why I said I want the hen house area all cleaned out. No, no, not that garage. Downstairs this way. Take it down that way. Put it where the other stuff is. Yeah, my buckets, my food buckets. Yeah. Here, put this underneath that tarp so we can sort this shit out there. Right? That goes underneath the tarp. We'll sort it out when Tayden comes by.
Underneath the tarp? Okay.
Yeah, because that's just junk that we'll probably end up giving away.
Yeah, that tarp worked last night, by the way.
Huh?
It worked. It rained last night.
Okay, and then just sweep this. That's good enough for now. Because it's a big jog boat here. I hired somebody to come start pulling Morning Glory. And I was going to... Yeah, for today. But that ain't happening today. Hold on. So there's my porch, right? That's you know what I'm saying? That's what happens when... and that's toys. Right? With this shit, okay? Don't say I didn't try and freaking make it stop leaking. That's all I ever do, year after year. Last year, I stapled a little bit, but they, you know, whatever. Okay, take it down. I'll help you bag it up. Okay, so this is why landlords, right, that are working with the cities or just working by themselves don't fix things. Because the more they can have your life fall apart because your shit gets ruined, you know, trashed around by raccoons, because don't forget, raccoons come out here, you know. Hurry up. I don't know what that is. What is it?
It's burnt.
It's a what?
It's a burnt car.
Well, I don't know. It's just something it's not burnt, it's molded. That's what you're seeing. Mold. There's been just...
That's not mold, that's burnt.
I don't know. It's been sitting out here for a couple of years. Okay? It's got heated up by the sun. That's what happened. Okay? It's been molding and just cooking there. So anyway, yeah. You know, just have everything get ruined, right? So that when the social workers show up, they can say that you don't clean. Yeah, right. That's all I do every day. Well, I'm proud of Andre. He's doing for himself. I said, what are you doing, Andre? He goes, I'm raising it off. I didn't even have to ask him to do that, people. So we cleared out that part. So there's the path for the fucking gurney. in 1984. Okay, they've already predicted that you're going to be outside in the yard working. You're going to get zapped with some energy weapons that everybody's lying on about and covering up in court and all this other crap. Clearly you're going to have a heart attack because of it, or something's going to happen. And then along comes the gurney, because they got it predicted on this day that's what's going to happen. And they got to exit out now. So, there you go. But that's not enough. They want me to clear out the bedrooms. Yeah. They want me to clear out the bedrooms so they can jump out the fucking windows. Yeah, okay, I'm going to jump out the window. Nobody's going to be using those bedrooms anytime soon. I explained to them why. Yeah, there's different reasons why. They can't force us to use something, right? And they can't say that we don't look after Amari and meet his needs, because we do. As a matter of fact, I've been going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and I go check on him right now. So he's safe. Like I said, for the most part, it's pretty good. He kind of knows, but every now and then he gets a little whatever, and he might, but if you notice the drop, it's not very long. He's got the pillows, he's got the blankets, plus the mat there, right? And if that mat's up, we got a different mat. And then there's more pillows, right? Okay? So, you know, they're going to what? I'm telling you people, what are they going to do? Put him in a metal cage. They're going to have to, or what? They're going to put him in a room like this, do what I do, it's okay for them, and then put a baby monitor on him? Yeah, okay. Yeah, get a baby monitor, set him up in a bedroom all by himself, so he can sit up in there all by himself with a baby monitor on him. Yeah, okay, he moves around too much. Okay, so basically, we've got flowers in here, beans, miscellaneous stuff that I've been using now more because of the cooking, right? We got the Wonder Mill over there. This is, this right here is, right? I can't put that outside because rats will definitely chew through that stuff. You didn't have to do that. It was unnecessary. You don't need to get it. That's okay. You didn't. Spraying it down was fine. They don't care about that, right? They're gonna find something else. But I'm glad you did a very nice, good job. Yeah. There's my porch, ready for the next rain. Yeah. And whatever we put out here, it's just gonna get ruined, because whatever that was over there, it was over here and it all got ruined. And I told you, I hired somebody last night to come and start with the morning glory first. And then I was going to pay them to help me with this stuff or whatever. Yeah, I was willing to pay good money for that, people. A couple, $200, $300, $400, $500, whatever I suppose it was going to take, not including what I was going to pay Andre out there. Yeah. It's bullshit.
I'm not making no $300.
Okay, so we got 2 cast iron pans here currently, right? This one I'm thinking to sell. I'd like not to, but Marina keeps throwing it out. It's not my son, it's Marina that throws it out. And my son likes to camp, so maybe I'll season it, and I don't know. You can't really keep them outside. But anyway, this is the one that I was going to use, one of the ones that I was going to use to make sourdough. And then now that I can get in here and let Tisha go through the pots and pans, or whatever's in here, you can see there's a fair amount, right? Because she's asking me for pots, right? Maybe one like this, right? Plus I've got, but I use them. I use these pots. But that's what she wants, right? But I said, you go through these ones, and then I'm going to go through them. I'm going to take a whole bunch out. And then because they're steel, I thought maybe I could put them in the shed. Right? And then as my bottoms are burning out on my other frying pans, like this one doesn't have a bottom. Some of them do, some of them don't, right? Then, you know, I'd replace them without having to buy. But it's like these people, they don't want you to own anything. It seems that way. Yeah. Or if you do, you got to put it in storage. Like they're working for this, what is this called? Agenda 30. You will own nothing and you will have nothing. You can forget that part about being happy, because chances by that time you'll be pretty much on your deathbed. Seriously. Because they run you ragged. They bankrupt you. Mm-hmm.
That good?
Yeah, you did a good job. I'm impressed. I didn't even have to ask you to do that. So that's good. Now Andre is finally understanding the importance of helping to clean and growing up and taking pride in his work, because you never know when the mean old social workers are going to come in with their supervisors, with their Agenda 1984 assumptions.
I was wondering why I washed it down. There was a can of oil in here
Okay.
that spilt.
Okay.
And that's why.
Okay, well, it would have needed it anyway. So that's the point is he did it for himself without me even having to ask. So that's a milestone in terms of growing up, taking responsibility for your environment. So that's a good thing.
Need paintbrushes?
Yeah, we need paintbrushes because we were going to paint. What is that?
I'll get paintbrushes.
Yeah, we need that because we're going to paint. But we're too busy cleaning up after other people that destroy our life.
I'm going to keep
and mixing it all up. I got food now that doesn't belong outside. Literally.
I'm going to keep this one for the PC.
But the weather's not too bad right now. Oh, speaking of that, can you cover up those buckets with some clean plastic bag so that they don't get all dusty where they are right now? Because they are outside, people. Hold on.
Where you're gonna go?
I'm using this food in here. This is food in here. Spices and stuff. Right? This is the jars I was going to use for Amari's broth. Okay? In this box are jars, right? Because, you know. And then Amari's food. Using for, that's, I don't know, there's beans, there's rice, there's flours, that kind of stuff. Right? I can't leave this kind of stuff outside. I was going to give these to the Africans next door. These plates. I had to wash them first, though. Yeah, they're telling me to clean. As if I don't fucking clean. Okay. You know what I'm saying? I don't think so. Here's some more food. Okay? In a Mylar bag. Yeah. These are lids for containers that I'm still, you know, using for one reason or another as I come across the lid or the container, depending on what it is. You know? Here's a little puppy for Kyrie, in case he wants to play with it. Yeah? You know what I'm saying? This is flours. Different types of flours, rice. These are buckets with food in them, people. Right? I didn't spend $1,700 for a food mill for no reason. Okay? That can grind whole groat oats and organic wheats and beans and all that other stuff. But I bought that one specifically for the whole groat oats to make organic oatmeal. Yeah. Okay, so I just want you to hear this noise that I live with. You can't open your windows too much very often because of the noise. I mean, you don't know what kind of noise you're going to get when it comes to this so-called property development and all this stupid shit that goes on that forces people out of their houses as they move in, immigrants, I guess, until these buildings are built, and then they come in with their federal and provincial and municipal schemes to get the immigrants into these buildings, because it's not families like mine, I can tell you that right now. So we cleared a little bit of the path there, but you know what, people, I don't know. I just know that I know what Amari's needs are, and whatever these people are thinking with their monitor, leaving him by himself on whatever surface that they put him on, because if they plan on leaving him by himself, I can tell you right now, they better be prepared to gate him in. And I'm not talking just a baby handrail, okay? I'm talking about right up to the top, okay? Unless you're there watching him 24/7, laying down, feeling if you're sleeping, him moving or whatever, it ain't gonna work. Nope. But if you're drugging a kid in foster care, you're plugging in a food feeding tube, right? Monitoring him with a baby monitor. I suppose it works for them when they live in their monster houses. Because I remember what Andre was in some SOS charity, so quote unquote foster care charity organization that was supposed to be one of the best, okay? And it was a monster home, I'm telling you. And it was gated. You had to go through a freaking gate to get into it, all right? Yeah. And you know, Amari represents $4,000 for a person like that, tax-free. In other words, they don't pay taxes on it, people. That's the way the legislation's been written, okay? Well, someone like me, the grandmother, who goes 1,000 miles for my grandson, we get what the $300 off our extra on our welfare check, and the family allowance, the baby bonus. That's it. and a whole lot of fucking harassment every couple of years like clockwork, right along with the city of Surrey. The grass needs to be cut. The morning glory needs to be pulled. I went last night over there after everything was all said and done, and I asked James, I need somebody to start coming and pulling morning glory for me, and maybe helping me with the X Club to, you know, do what needs in the porch, and like we'll start with the $50 just with the morning glory in the back, just so that we start, right? See, you know, and as somebody that knows how to work, likes to work, right? I don't want no dicky ass person coming around. Just this is what I want, do it. If you do a good job, then there's going to be another job for you. I'm willing to spend up to $500 by the end of fucking November or whatever it is. I'll get out there like a dirty shirt, work like a dirty shirt. Andre wants to make some money. I already told him, you work in the yard, I'll give you $300. And these people are just destroying it. Completely fucking destroying it. The grass needs to be cut like ASAP. The grass itself is a heat score, people. With all this noise and all this traffic and all these big ass trucks going up and down the road and all this shit, right? City doesn't care about that. They don't care about that. They don't care about big ass dump trucks sitting in front of my yard, 7 in a row, with them grinding their cement, with us spewing a whole bunch of cement, gritty shit into my house. They don't care about none of that crap. No. This is what we listen to every day. Every day. Some days it's even louder than this. So, you know, right? They can't force Andre to be in this room under any circumstances because he doesn't want to sleep or be in a room below Kane and Marina, because sometimes they have sex, which adults do, okay? And he doesn't want to be in the other bedroom because it gets way, 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 way too hot. So our plan is to liquidate, maximize on my vintage clothing, in terms of dollars, maximize on my vintage fabric in terms of dollars, in terms of selling it. Obviously homeschool stuff to some degree or another. Before I'd sell it all, I'd let Mark Kane go through it, because you know he might want to keep a bit here and there for himself since he's thinking about having kids. Other than that, most of it can go, but it takes time to sort this stuff out when your stuff is being tossed around town, right? The city of Surrey, that causes a lot of fucking problems. Maria, aka Rhea, right, the one that I knew for 9 years, babysat her kids for like 2 years in a row, 3 times a month, right? You know what I'm saying? She come into my house and she robs me freaking blind, putting me back. I'm still putting shit away. That's what some of that stuff in the hall is, people. I'm still reorganizing and, you know, and repack it nicely. You know what I'm saying? I bought some jars. I bought some jars. I'm sorry, I bought some jars, just like I bought that fish. Like, I'm such a bad person, man. Like, I'm getting so sick and tired of fucking life. It's pathetic. I'm sorry, boo-boo life. So yeah, I bought 12 more amber glass, which are actually ball, really, jars, which I had to take those boxes that were here in the hall, right here. I put them in the bathroom because I don't have time to use them yet. They're brand new. I just bought them, and I just opened up a little box that had 4 amber jars that apparently 2 of them broke. So I got to get a hold of Amazon and see if I can at least get a reimbursement on those 2 jars, right? Because 2 of them broke, and I have 4 now. Just to finish with what I'm doing with Amari's food, right? Basically, I have a box of seasoning, high seasoning that I really like, that's in my room, and they're in plastic containers, right? So I'm going to take that out of the plastic, and I'm going to put them in those other jars, right? You know what I'm saying? So I'm not doing bad stuff. I'm not doing bad stuff here, people, or any other miscellaneous things I want in those jars. And I want to keep 4 of those ball amber jars. You can put clay pebbles in them and water. You can grow your herbs in that, right? And because of the amber jar, it doesn't grow algae. I read that. So I want to try that at some point in the future when things get more settled. You know, I told him what I was going to do with the VCRs in terms of, there's a bookshelf over here that's full of homeschool books. Nothing but homeschool books. I've been a homeschool mom for 40 years here, okay? All right? And I'm going to take those books and I'm going to put them in the boxes where the VCRs are, and I'm going to put those VCRs on that shelf. But the boxes will still be there where I have them pretty much, until we get them online and have people come and buy them. And you can't have them in storage expecting to sell your shit, especially if it's in cold storage. If it's in cold storage, you might as well write everything off. Literally, you might as well write everything off. And if they're going to have me do that kind of crap just because they want a room where there's a window that you might jump out of, as if you jump out of that window, look how far down that is. That is asinine, people. There are rocks down there, okay? This is not a fucking game, okay? Like, this is, right? There's a tree over there and whatever, okay? This is the lowest window because it's a bigger window. It's not up high. It's lower by, I don't know, 2 feet at least. And then down here, what's down here is soft dirt. Okay, it's soft dirt with 4 inches of wood chips. Plus I have a ladder, for crying out loud, which I'll dig out. Like, it's stupid. It's stupid. And no, they don't take Amari out in a freaking gurney. They carry him out, but he's already out before they even get here, people. Sometimes, the last time when he was choking, I was on the street there with him choking, because normally I sit here and I wait for them. And then they come and I pass, or I carry him to the ambulance. I will either carry him to the ambulance, Marcane will either carry him, because Marcane's done that, or the ambulance person will take him, right? The only last time I was on the curb, where that car was, right? Okay, you can see that car there, right? Was because I thought he was choking. I didn't. It wasn't the seizure that was the issue with me. It was just right, because sometimes when he goes to sleep, he goes like this. So I looked that up online, and it can pinch the airway to make it like where you are choking, right? So either or, even still, the doctor said every seizure is different, because with Amari it seems to be that way. But we're at a point now where I don't even have to call the ambulance after we go through this one run with this medication. You know what I'm saying? So, like, it, right? Like, we have not been negligent with Amari. Like, we give up our freaking life for Amari, because that's what you do. We don't sit up in a big ass monster home portraying ourselves to be the best freaking foster care parent in all of British Columbia, Canada, right? Because we live in a monster home that's subsidized by a so-called charity, as it's being also subsidized by a government with their, they listed Andre down, I'm sure of it, people, as a special needs child, right? Because he stopped eating, he wouldn't talk, none of this crap. They had him run into here, they had him run into the child, okay? That's all special needs. So whatever that foster care parent was getting was a whole lot more than what I was getting, because there's different tiers within the foster care parent when it comes to payment. I'm only on tier 1. That woman, or if you want to call it a woman, that was looking after Andre at that time, because honestly, I do believe it was a man that was dressed as a woman, I really do, posing as a woman. Anyway, that person was getting a 2-tier anyway. It was not a 1-tier payment. No way. Not for the things that they were taking him, to try and get Andre to eat, because he shut down. Because they locked him into a room and they were drugging him. And he was crying for us. She complained that he wanted to take a broom and clean underneath the bed. Yeah, well, he wanted to take a broom at 28 months old and clean underneath the bed, because that's what his mother was teaching him and making it fun and a game. Oh, Andre, let's clean. Come on, here's the broom. Let's get all that stuff under. Ooh, right? You know what I'm saying? Right? They accused her of scratching him, when in fact we had a rabbit, and it was the rabbit that scratched him, so he had a little scar on his arm or something because of the rabbit, right? And I guess that person said, well, what happened? Oh, mommy did it. No, mommy didn't do it. Ooh, owie. No, it was the rabbit that did it. Like, they're very good at twisting their freaking words, and like, this is nonsense. This is nonsense. They said to me, I got it recorded, right, when they were standing here, and, well, you can go get a lawyer. And I'm like, yeah, well, why should I have to? Like, what, do I have to go to OnlyFans and go get a lawyer? Because do you honestly think I'm going to be satisfied with just a legal aid lawyer? No, I'm not, people. I said, this will be my last fight. This will be my last fight if you think whatever you guys are thinking, because it's not that simple, man. No. They're the ones that killed my daughters, okay? They're the ones that kicked out Sierra illegally. I told them that. You guys kicked Christine Miller. Is she still working in that fucking boo-boo department that you are coming from? Because she's the one that put my daughter out onto the street, Sierra, in the middle of winter, December 11th of 2012. Yeah, for not coming home, right? And then, okay, they came in, oh, Andre needs his own room, blah, 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 blah. Shemaine went downstairs, and look what happened to her. She got murdered downstairs, people. If she would have stayed in her room, she was in school. If she would have stayed in her room, people, she loved school. She had a high IQ. She was an honor student, okay? But no, they had to put her downstairs with Joan Duncan. Yeah, well, it was after Joan Duncan. It was after they kicked out Sierra, because Joan left in December of 2012. Yeah, she lived for 1 year in an old folks home, and then they murdered her by cutting off the IV. Okay, go into my videos, you'll hear that story. But in the meantime, they made Shemaine give up her room, the room that Andre and I don't like to sleep in because we bake in it, but she loved it, and she went downstairs and she got the small room that Sierra was in, and because it was Sierra's room and Sierra was homeless and it was in the middle of the winter, what the hell was happening? Sierra was sneaking into the house, going into Shemaine's room now, which really, it was Sierra's room, right? And yeah, and doing her drugs and bringing in Austin, and Shemaine was having a nervous breakdown while the social workers were plotting and scheming behind my back how to take Andre, hoping that I wouldn't fight back, made it so I couldn't get a freaking lawyer, right? I had to fucking scream and holler and argue, and even then I got denied because I was just a lowly grandmother. And then eventually, because I did that custody thing right away, right, you know what I'm saying, they had to sooner or later address me. And then the judge said, well, you need a lawyer before, you know, because you already have custody. And I'm like, well, how the hell can I have custody when all these social workers are saying I don't? He says, it doesn't matter, just go put another application. I said, yeah, but the last time I did that, it got denied. And then he said, no, you need to, right? So I went, and sure enough, it got approved, and that's how I got Paul. But then even then they dragged it out because, you know, because Andre wasn't eating, and he wasn't talking, and because he shut down because of what they did to him, people. For crying out loud, they pulled his penis all the way down the whole shaft. Okay? I swear they molested him. I swear they did. The doctor said so. No, it's unnecessary. You don't do that to small kids. He came home. I went to clean him, pulled his shaft just a little bit to clean the head. The bloody thing went whoop, just like that. Just whoop, dropped down so fast. I'm like, holy crap, it scared the pants off me. Huh? And then 2 months later or whatever, I checked him and it fused itself back together. And it's been like that ever since. And I said, okay, now that you're 15 years old, you need to go and do some research on it. Go talk to Uncle Marcaine about, you know, life. And there's, you know, Alex you can talk to. And I gave him information that I know, right? You know, and I told him to look on the internet and that he's got to learn to look after himself and yada, 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 yada. That's the way you deal with it, people. Okay? Andre never had a freaking diaper rash until he showed up in fucking foster care. 21 days later, his penis was beat red. I had to call the freaking cops. Cops came back and, oh, well, the social workers told the foster care parent to go put Andre in, take him to a doctor. Yeah, okay, the doctor said, yeah, to pull his shaft all the way down. You know, that would have been painful. They would have had to hold him down, people. They would have had to put him to sleep, something. Because it's not that simple. There's glands at the top of the tip of the head. You can't just rip it down. It's not something you can do because you rip those glands. So they may have caused permanent freaking damage to him, right? And I told him, I said, if you're having problems, Andre, if you feel like you're having problems, yada, don't be afraid to come and tell me, and I'll take you to a doctor, right? Or, you know, you tell Uncle Marcaine if you feel like you're having problems. After you do all your reading and everything, you know, you just let me know, right? And this is what they want for Amari. Amari is not circumcised. They can go into foster care and he's going to get who's going to go see him? Me, right? Am I going to go see Amari? Amari be crying to come and see me? I'm not going. No, you don't care about, no, I'm on OnlyFans looking for fucking 5 lawyers. I don't know. Oh, you're irresponsible. You're thinking about OnlyFans. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. I just went next door to pay $50 to get somebody just to pull stupid Morning Glory for me, just to see how he works. And if he works good, then yeah, you got more work ahead of you. And I'm willing to pay. So don't talk to me about shit. You know what I'm saying? No. I'm not trying to lose my house. These people are trying to make me lose my house. Yeah, I called them on it today. You guys are trying to make me lose my house. You're trying to get me evicted. Yeah. All this booming, Punjabi across the street right there with a black fucking turban on. Okay, what do you think? You think he's all good business? Perhaps, maybe so, maybe not, right? Do you honestly think he's going to be honest enough to tell you what kind of person he really is? But really, all you have to do is look around, see what comes knocking on your damn door, right? It's just a matter of time. If they don't come personally themselves, they send in their crew, their partner groups, because there's kickbacks to this shit. Yeah, kickbacks to this shit. They want Andre and Amari to go to Tisha's house if they're not satisfied with what I've done. Andre's not going. Tisha can't take Amari. So then what? What happens then? Because Tisha's got 9 little kids depending on her to do cheerleading. So she can't take Amari. And Andre just refuses to go because we haven't done anything wrong. Nope. Okay, so this shoe shelf has been here since I moved in. If they have me take the bookshelf away for the shoes, I have no place for the shoes. This has been here since I moved in. There's books on it and stuff, which eventually some of them will be sold. And when I do laundry, because I hang dry up here, you can see I fold up. These are all Amari's. I just haven't put them away yet. Right? This has got papers in it. Tisha's been asking for papers and stuff. So I didn't move this yet. They'll probably get mad at me. The soup is in the garage. Yeah, Amari's drinks are in the garage. Do you see? Crime of the century. I'm just saying. So I'm leaving that there. They probably won't like it. They'll say get rid of that and get rid of this. This is the cat food. If I put the cat food, doesn't matter where I put it, even if I put it behind closed doors, the raccoons will go down the hall and try and get into the bedrooms to get to the cat food. So if you turn the corner and you come and there's a raccoon down there because it's trying to get into the bedroom because they can smell the cat food, that's how good they're at smelling cat food, you're going to run into a path with a raccoon running right by you, which could potentially be dangerous because of, what do you call it? They're scared. Right? Otherwise, they'll sit at the door and they'll wait. You open the door, there'll be a raccoon just waiting, looking at you to feed it. Or maybe they'll come in and they will try and grab the bucket and pull it out. This is my canner. That's what I'm supposed to be doing. Right? Okay. Besides that point. This is my food dehydrator. No, vacuum sealer with bags because I'm still not quite done with the miscellaneous food prep. Obviously books, right, which will end up becoming that homeschool center where things will be sold, right? In here, I've got food. Don't ask me to take this all out because this is what they want, all right? We'll see, okay? Okay, so there you go, right? Okay, so I moved whatever was here, right? Some of it's outside. What's in here is the first 2 shelves is food, right? All nicely in jars. Canned salmons, canned kippers, snacks, right? Andre, can I get the flashlight? Andre, can I get the flashlight? Okay, as you can see, so we got oysters, we've got sardines, right? We've got salmon in here, different types. You can see I don't have glasses. Salmon, sockeye salmons, pink, whatever, right? We've got jars. Now, here's the problem with this house. Okay, you think I want to... I'm sick and tired of living in this house. Okay, there's no reason for this gritty shit. I don't know if you can see this, but it's some serious gritty shit. Okay, that comes in from outside with these dump trucks. All right, now this has been closed. I have not opened this. Now that one could have been a spider. Okay, that one could have been a spider, because let's see if we find it up here. These ones aren't too bad. These are not too so that was probably a spider. I don't get angry with the spiders when they catch the moths or whatever it is and they leave their little dinner remnants behind. Okay, but when I get up in here, this is where I can feel those little spider webs. So I'm gonna come in here at some point, wipe it down, and then I'm gonna spray the corner in here with the what is that called? Tea tree oil. And I really should be doing pepperin. So these ones aren't too bad. So here we go again. You can see what's going on here, right? So this is handy dandy stuff, right? Okay, I'm ready to go. Those are my a lot of my broths and, you know, those kind of things, stocks or whatever you want to call them. I've got sesame seeds in the back. Okay, you can see. So anyway, and then up on this shelf right here are all different country cookbooks from different countries, right? Different countries, okay? And I kind of want to keep those, right? Because, you know, right? So I've got those ones down to an isolated little thing. Now I've got grandkids, right? Now I'm going to have to lock this up, though. You know why? Do you know why I have to lock this up? Now that it's like this, that they made me move everything? Because if I don't lock it, and I've got my door open, I have had people come in here and steal things from here. Okay? You know what I'm saying? Now, I was putting a piece of cardboard here, which I had to put in the garage, which means I don't have boxes now to sell any of my larger clothing items, because anything that's in the garage is going to get ruined. But, and I have to bring one up, actually. I'm going to have to, because you know, I like to open the door and irrigate the house, right? And, you know, and raccoons will come in, okay? Or people come in and they just grab, right? You know, they come in and they just grab. That's just, right? Oh, well, you've got really nice those. Yeah, well, what does that matter? You're probably going to tell me to get rid of them, right? And then this is, you know, like Kyrie and Alea May are just coming into age of some of this stuff, right? And if Tisha doesn't want it, well, I don't know. Maybe I'll sell some of it. Maybe I won't, right? Because Marcane's going to have kids. I have a right. I've had these things, these ones, since Sierra was a baby. Right? I'm just saying. And I had another set that I gave to Tisha. Whole set. Okay. I have National Geographic's paper, all art paper. Okay? Do you see what's going on in here? This in here is all art paper. I don't want to... In here is all art paper. How do you open this? Okay, either or. In here, we've got all the tempera paints. Look what I have to do, because people come into my house with the door open, right? I have tempera paints, craft books, it's all kid stuff. This is all the court stuff, right? All the medical files, all the legislation, and then on the bottom shelf are all the books, piano books that Shimei can't play no more, because Shimei is dead, because she was forced downstairs so that Andre could have a room to come back from foster care, even though it took 15 months for him to come home, and that room sat empty for 15 fucking months, right? Well, they figured out the difference between the word custody and guardian. That was their excuse, people. That was their excuse, people, to prolong keeping him even longer than they had him, because they got the judge. Well, the new legislation says that we're not dealing with custody anymore, and it's called guardian, but we don't quite understand the legislation yet, so we're going to have to put it off for another 3 more months. So now you're going into court number 18, right? And then you get there 3 months later, and then the lawyer, you know, Sierra's lawyer is sick. Yeah, okay, sure, Sierra's lawyer is sick. So then it gets put off for another 3 months. That's what they do. Okay. And I was holding out for a trial. And then when it came right down to the crunch and we were getting ready for the trial, they didn't want it to go to trial. So they came with me with this new legislation where foster parents or grandparents, right, you know, go on a 2-year contract, you get X amount of, and it's some new thing. No, it was nothing new. It was the same thing that they've been doing for years. Okay, it was the same program that other woman, well, person that was looking after Andre. Okay, so they're here now. Who's that?
This is my coworker, Sandeep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I got a video camera on my ass right now. So I'm going to go get my other recorder, okay? I'll turn this off.
The video camera?
Yeah.
Do right now. Let's go to the store and have a snack.
Well, there's no snacks. Anyway, I'm going to finish this video here. So, just for your general information for those that are watching who aren't the lurkers, I don't give a crap about lurkers, okay? But don't let anyone ever tell you that you can't record the conversation if you're a party to that conversation, okay? Because you're not doing anything wrong under the Criminal Code of Canada.
How about,
I don't know where my book is. I'm talking on my video here, Andre. Okay, so just do as I ask. A couple of eggs with the,
I was gonna ask, can I maybe do blueberry, kiwi, banana, and hemp seeds?
Sure. Probably won't be so gassy for him, being that he's constipated. There's not enough calories in it, but yeah. Okay, so anyway, the criminal.
Fruit.
What?
He's getting a lot of fruit.
Yeah, a little. I don't know. He's backed up. He's backed up. I don't know. We're back to the square one with the drinks backing him up. All right. So what I'm trying to say is, let me finish the video because I'm done for the day with this video. I was clearly ranting on about my food preps and all this crap, right? So, but yeah, don't let anybody ever tell you that you can't record a conversation, because under the Criminal Code of Canada, by law, as long as you're a part of the proceedings, that conversation, you have that right. You don't even have to necessarily inform people that you're recording, as long as you're a part of that recording, okay? Right? I mean, out of courtesy, you know, social workers show, well, you know, I'm like, doesn't matter, I'm recording. Oh, well, I don't consent, doesn't matter, I'm a party to this conversation under the criminal code, I'm allowed to. You know, and in light of my circumstances, I'm one of those more vulnerable people where, you know, it's only in my best interest. So anyway, right? I'm now, all right, so I just want you to know that. So when I was doing my little video last before this, I think I was looking in that little wall unit where I have those food groups, right? With, you know, the canned sardines and oysters and salmons and yada-de-yada with the jars, okay, whatever. And then they came, all right. So we walked them through the little path, okay. I showed you already in the video what it was about. And so basically where we're at with it right now, with the quote-unquote social workers, is we're going to have a family meeting to discuss a more futuristic plan. And a lot of that stems around me losing my eyesight, not including the living conditions in terms of being cluttered, right, and overcrowded, right, and there's reasons for that. 14 years not being able to sew created a backlog of a whole bunch of beautiful fabric, which many of it is now vintage, which nobody has a right to tell me to throw away $30,000 worth of fabric. I'm just using that as an example. Okay, if you had to tally it all up, and that's probably on a low ball. All right. In addition to, we'll just say another $20,000, $10,000, $20,000, even $5,000 worth of vintage clothing. One dress alone, people, is $1,000. Nobody has a right to tell you to chuck it, put it in storage. What's it going to do in storage? Nothing. And if it's a cold storage, you can kiss it goodbye. Even in a plastic bag, it will sweat and the fabric will start to mildew. Where this, right now, the way I had it stored, in between a whole bunch of fabric in another bag, sitting up on my bed in my bedroom at one point for years and years and years, well, 14 years really, because I came into the house with it. It's in pristine condition. When I showed the women, like those social workers, I think their eyes popped out. This one lady, she couldn't believe it. She loved it. I think she wanted it, right? And they couldn't believe that it was in such mint, no beads missing, nothing. Yeah, I said that's because it was stored like this. That's why. So basically it's down to having a family meeting to make to draw out a larger plan in terms of who gets Amari if something should happen to me, basically. And it's not about who gets Amari. It's about who's going to, be there to look after Amari with Amari's special needs in mind, right? We had a little debate about, we gave you money for a baby monitor and we gave you money for, the bed rail. I said, yeah, okay, fair enough. And I bought the bed rail. It didn't work. It wasn't conducive for him because he started moving. Once he started moving, I don't remember exactly. He was a late bloomer, but once he learned that he could start moving his body around, that was it. The game was on. And I just simply explained to them, hold on a minute. Okay, so I turned it off in mid-sentence because he was starting to grind up Amari's food, right? Now he's feeding him. All right, so I don't know what I was talking about because needless to say, my brain is bouncing around all over the place. So basically, under the Criminal Code of Canada, you're allowed to record as long as you're part of the proceedings and you're not going out of your way to spy on somebody. And I reminded them that because we don't consent. Well, I asked them, why don't you guys record? Because technically you should, right? You know what I'm saying? Versus taking down notes, because notes can be skewed. You see, that's the problem with notes, right? People can skew the information so it's not coming out correctly. It only takes a few sentences to make everything go south. That's all I'm saying, right? All right, so anyway, whatever. They were more concerned about the camera with the camcord, and when they came to my door, I was like, yeah, well, I shut it off. And I said, look, it's off, but yeah, hold on, I'm going to go get my, oh yeah, but we want to, and oh well, yeah, but, okay, so besides that point, so Andre and I, we did what we did, and I reminded them it wasn't anything that I haven't been wanting to do. It's just, it's very difficult to move stuff out onto the porch. We'll just use that as an example, so it can get rained on and ruined because of the state of the porch, right? Explain that to him, but whatever. I moved a few things around. And now that I can get into my pots and pans, I think I was talking about that before I turned off the camera. Tisha's going to come. She's going to pick what she wants. There's different size pots, different size frying pans, that whatever. I don't care. Take what you want. I'll keep a few for myself because I'm more into the cast irons right now or whatever. And, and the ones I don't want, I'm going to put in the shed. And then as the ones that deteriorate that I have with the bottoms burning out because they start to separate, because you get the ones with the extra bottom on the metal and then they start to separate, and once that happens you have to get rid of the pot. It's not conducive to use anymore. In that situation, then I'd go out to the shed and I'd grab myself a pot so I don't have to spend the money. I'm just saying. And then once I clear out some pots, then the boxes that have jars in them, because I told him I'm finishing up with food prep. The last big bout of shop that I did was only because of Rhea. Right before Rhea showed up, I was at the tail end of having my haul cleared out, everything nicely put away. But when she came, and I told him this today, that girl, she robbed me of this, and this. I estimated it at about $10,000 because she was walking off. Andre, please. She was walking off with boxes full of freaking canned ham, boxes full, right, of freaking sockeye salmon, corned beef, whatever. Whole 1 size gallon size jars of maple sugar. That's $100 right there per 1 gallon jar. A big ass jar of chocolate chips, 1 size gallon, not including what I'm not seeing, right? On top of, bolts of fabric. She didn't just steal fabric, people. She stole bolts of fabric that were used for costumes, okay? Which was extremely expensive, and she was planning to do it again. Yeah, and I told him that. And she scattered all my jars, and it took me months to get that all organized again, right? As I'm buying to stock up what she stole. So I bought extra ham, I bought extra freaking sockeye salmon, or whatever it was. I even went out and bought more chocolate, okay, just to compensate for what she stole, to get that monkey off my back. And of course it piles up in my little hall as I'm pulling stuff out of my bedroom to put other stuff in there. And I say it wasn't easy to make the decision just to start selling off my clothes, for crying out loud. Like I'm up for the challenge to sell, well, at least 2/3, right? 3/4. I said, sell. And what doesn't sell after the fact, if I don't want it, I'll just donate it. But don't expect me to put it in a storage room and let it sit there and get mildewy or whatever. It's never going to move in a freaking storage room so that we have access to a window that we'll never use. Because ain't nobody going to sleep in those rooms anyway. Because we have special needs. So now we're talking about Amari. Oh, that's right. Oh, well, we gave you money for a baby monitor and a baby gate. Well, not a baby gate, a bed rail. And I said, yeah, well, I tried the bed rail, but it didn't work. It wasn't strong enough. It wouldn't hold. It just wasn't conducive to the way he moves around, right? You know what I'm saying? And as for the baby monitor, I mean, you'd have to be looking at, like, in terms of a visual one, you'd have to be looking at it 24/7, as if, right? And, to have one to hear, well, you could get distracted doing dishes. Andre, please! You could get distracted doing dishes, clanging pots and pans, water's running. You might not hear that hiccup, that, hey, that's something, like, sometimes it's very subtle. And if you don't know the types of sounds that Amari makes because you're not on the ball with it, you could miss that seizure coming on, or that puking session. And it's not just simply puke like a normal kid pukes. It's like you got to make sure he wasn't like this when he puked, and then go asphyxiated with the puke in his lungs, right? So and you got to determine if it's just a puking session because he can't poop, and you're feeding him and everything's coming up, which could create a seizure, or if he's constipated, Andre, please, or if he's constipated and you feed him, and there's nowhere for the food to go, he'll upchuck with it, and because he's constipated, that could lead to a freaking seizure. And all the times that he's had a seizure in this house, only one time did he go unattended for God knows how long that seizure was in active mode. And that's when he was in the bedroom by himself. And that was the space of 15-20 minutes. And you put him down thinking he was happy, he was changed, he was fed, he was penciled in, he was safe, and you come back in to check on him, and he's going like this, and it was like a full-blown freaking seizure. Yeah, okay. Since then, he's always got emergency 911. Serious, and I told him this, basically, we're on it. Like within the first 3 to 5 minutes, we're calling 911. Once we determine it's a seizure and we know it's a seizure of sorts, we're on it. And I like to take him outside, because just the outside with the different noises and the air temperature change, because it can get real hot in here. And if it's in the evening, you go out, it's a little cooler. It's just whatever. And I'm talking to him. There's a good possibility that he'll start to come out of it even before he's in the ambulance. Other times, no. It depends. It depends, because every seizure is different. And a lot of times you catch it by the different sounds that he makes. He could be sitting there right now as happy as pie, with Andre there right now, right? You just heard him, but the next sound might be completely different that I can determine because I listen to him all the time, and not with a baby monitor. Because a baby monitor, you know, you'd get too comfortable, and I move away. The baby monitor is here. I'd have to be in one location, always listening, and then people are spying in your house because they can tap. But it's not even about that. It's not two eyes on him. 2 sets of eyes, never mind 2 eyes, 2 sets of eyes, or at least 2 eyes on him. You gotta have one person with him all the time, pretty much. That's the way it rolls around here. And we've learned to adapt around that, and and I told him that. Oh, well, you know, he needs more space. Well, it's not what you think, what you're gonna do. You can't use wood rails. Ain't gonna happen. Why not? I said, because he'll break them. Why? How could he possibly do that? I said, because he's strong. His left side, doesn't matter if he's skinny or not, he'll find a way, right? Or he can get his foot caught in there, or anything. He busts them up. The plastic ones you have to be careful of, and they're not even high enough. Why do you think we pencil him in with a blanket? Right? And even now, you know, you're hanging off the couch, and because, you know, he wants to get something. If you leave the room for 30 seconds, you know, he ain't gonna go for it because he's a sneaky Houdini baby that way. So I have to put down a mat, or I gotta have pillows, just because it's a body. It makes him fall, right? He can control only certain parts of his body. And so, you know, that's why I need a king-size mattress on the floor with the bean bags. Like, it's stupid. And, you know, I said, you'd have to put him in a metal fucking crib. Sorry, boo-boo crib. You'd have to, and if you're going to go that far, because you can forget about a wood one, you're not going to last a month, if that. Yeah, if he doesn't strangle himself somehow, or break his freaking leg or something, because he'll get it caught up in there, and he'll be crying, and you know, like when he swung over that freaking ankle bracelet, and he hit his tibia. He did that on his own, you know? Well, how often do the kids do that? Well, not very often. I don't remember any kid ever doing that. Well, Amari did. You know. And I told him that. Like, you know, that's not fair to him. You know, why does he need to be caged up like that? And they didn't like that, but that's the reality of it. Here he's safe. You know, if Andre's not listening, I'm listening. If Andre's not looking, I'm looking. And between the two of us, we catch that seizure within the first 1 to 5 minutes. Yeah. 911 within 4 to 5 minutes. Well, we'll say 3 to 5 minutes. As soon as we catch wind, it's either 3 to 5 minutes, we're on the phone calling 911. And by the time they come, it's either they come in, pick them up and go, or my son takes them and takes them out, right, and hands them to them, or I take them out and hands them to them. Okay? And it works. It works. Sometimes he's coming out of the seizure before he even shows up at the hospital. Other times he's knocked out because of either those little pills that, you know, right, where they knocks them out, and then the paramedics give him one, and then the doctors give him one. That's 3 that knocks out an adult for 12 freaking hours. What do you think it's going to do for a little teeny weeny boy, pumping 3 of those little pills in him? They knock him out for like over 12 hours. Right? And then, you know, then they're sticking their tubes down his throat because, you know, just because he's out. Other days, by the time we get to the hospital, he's sitting up and he's already looking around, and the paramedics are giving him teddy bears. It all depends, right? Depends on the type of seizure, and it depends on how he's being medicated before he even gets to the hospital. So, but the point is, you can't use that against us when we've been there spot on each and every single time within, I'd say, 2 to 5 minutes. Once we figure, oh, hold on, he puked, what's going on? Is that just a puke, or is it or are we into a seizure? Because we've dealt with both. Right? And there's triggers. Constipation is one of them. He's constipated because of these drinks right now. That could be a trigger, right? As you know, because even if you give him the laxative, all it does is dissolve what's on the outside, not what's in, not that ball, right? So, you know, you're pumping my laxative in him all the time, but sometimes it doesn't even help. So you have to just let nature take its course. And then it goes into that poo party where it could be up to a week of him fussing and crying and whatever. And yeah, there is a possibility. Like, we're on high alert in here right now because he's constipated, people. High alert. Yeah. Right? They don't understand that. We're going to put him in the bedroom on high alert? Yeah, okay, I don't think so. Listen to a baby monitor? Don't wash dishes because you're not going to hear it. Never mind look at a screen. However you want to use a baby monitor. You know, put a camera on him. Yeah, okay, sure. Yeah. Forget about cooking. Forget about laundry. You're not going to have time to do all that because you got to sit there and look at a screen. It doesn't work like that in the real world. No. And just because you hear something on a baby monitor doesn't mean you're going to hear it correctly in terms of those very minute different little sounds that come from him when he's going into a seizure. Sometimes we're all sleeping, right? And, you know, like in the past, it was a little easier for me to sleep and be like a light sleeper, right? Be a light sleeper. But because I sleep to work and I'm exhausted with the work because it's that daily grind, plus I've had the added work of trying to rescue my belongings here and there and everywhere over a period of years and years and years, right? I'm at the point now where, you know, if I fall asleep, I wake up and Amari's head is like right here. Right here. That's his head. Right up. And he's moved himself through sleep where he's laying this way with his head facing up, with his head right here on my breastbone. Right? So what it does is he's heavy. So it squishes my lungs. That's why I've been kind of coughing more these days. Right? Just because he's been like squishing me. But he likes it because he listens to the heartbeat. I think that he goes for the heartbeat. He just wants to feel close. But, I'm like sleeping. I get up in the morning and he's like, how the hell did you get there, Murray? Like, what are you doing? And he's just like a snuggling little bug. He's like just a bug all snuggled up. And he's happy as can be. But I don't remember him doing it because, I'm sleeping heavy and hard, right? But this is where Andre will be up. I get up at 2 o'clock in the morning and they're still up. Finally, Andre will go to sleep, but Amari at 4:30 is still bouncing around. They don't even factor in that, right? Where other mornings I get up at 2 in the morning and they're pretty much sleeping and they'll sleep. Sometimes Amari will sleep until 10 o'clock. Other times he's up at 6:30. Oftentimes he'll get up between 5:30 and 7:30 if I'm up at between 2 and 3 or 4, right? And then all of a sudden he's up. And once he's up, and Andre's snoozing away, right? That's my shift, right? And I give him his bottle. I talk to him. I change him if he needs to be changed. And, I pencil him in. And I have that ear. I keep that ear going, and he plays with his little talking bear, and he flips himself to the other side of the couch, and because he knows Andre's on the floor, he's not going to try and get down. He just likes to be close to Andre, just like he likes to be close to me, right?
Bye. I'm out of here.
And and if I'm sleeping, and Andre catches wind with it, Andre has woken me up, said, Nana, I think he's going into seizure. I'm like this, people. That's that heart of freaking steel, man. Okay? And yeah, it was a seizure, and we dealt with it ASAP. And within 5 minutes, before even 5 minutes went by, the ambulance was called. And the transition between us to the ambulance attendants is smooth. With or without clutter. Okay? I'm just saying. And I told him, if I could move, I would make plans to move. Take me about a year to pack up fully and, yada-yada. But you can't even make those kind of plans, right? In terms of, listen to this noise. Do you hear it? That's them still working at, what time is it here? That's those ones that tore down that duplex over there, kicked out all those people. Yeah, 6 o'clock in the freaking in the afternoon, and they're still out there grinding and blowing their horns and doing whatever they're doing. And that can go on until 9 o'clock at night. They start at 7 o'clock in the morning and they go to 9 o'clock at night, for crying out loud, all day long. Sometimes it gets so obnoxious you have to close all your windows. Oh, I'm just saying. You can hear it. It's maddening. So, I told him, like, it's not what you think. Like, yeah, okay, you're going to lock him up in a cage. I don't think so. Even if you put him in a bedroom, you couldn't leave him there for very long. Nobody's going to want to go in the bedroom at, there's no fixed bedtime. That's the thing. There's no fixed bedtime. There isn't. It just isn't. You want to go to sleep. Andre wants to go to sleep, but Amari wants to play. Oh, okay. Yeah, right. Sure. Yeah. So whatever we've grown, and that's the thing, we've grown around Amari's needs, right? Do you hear that? We've grown around Amari's needs. Like we adapted. We adapted, and we figured out what works and what doesn't work, right? And when it comes time to act in terms of that heart of steel, we're on it. So they can't use that against us. They don't. I don't think they know they can't, right? They can't say that we're not meeting that emergency, right? That's why they keep using fire as an fire exits as the excuse. But when I was talking to that, and this is the way I told Tisha, it all started with that social worker with the respite. She came in and I told her, I said, don't be a Karen. Don't go on about the path, right? Like, I trust you just to come for what you said you were going to come for, because I already know what I'm struggling with. But I have a plan in terms of teaching Andre how to make pizza pockets, beef pockets, cinnamon rolls, homemade sourdough bread, freaking pizza dough, just dinner rolls, pie. That's just with the flours, whether it's flour from a bag that you buy at a grocery store, or whether it's me getting into my organic wheats and grinding them up with my freaking food mills. And then I showed them that one that I spent $1,700 for, and specifically so that I can flake the organic oat groats without having to do by hand, because this one's got its own separate machine. One half is for the wheats and the beans if you want. The other half is specifically for oat groats, right? And you can choose the size that you want to flake them in, and it has its own separate motor. $1,700. You can't get any better than that. Well, you can. You could actually go a little higher and get a little more quality machine. But for that price, you're getting a good price, right? And I showed it to them. Well, have you used it? When did you buy it? I said, it's been 4 months ago. I haven't had a chance to use it yet because I'm battling in my non-functioning kitchen. I said, you look at this, does this look like a functioning kitchen? They said, no. I said, exactly, it's not. You don't think I don't know that? Right? You don't think I battle in this kitchen every freaking day, having to struggle with my laundry and not enough space, counter space for this or whatever, especially when I'm trying to teach my grandson how to not only make the right kind of foods for Amari when it comes to pureeing and combining them together and think about calories. And he's always throwing in those hemp seeds because hemp seeds are good for him. And they're, for 1 tablespoon, it's something like, I think, 80 or 90 calories per tablespoon. So he's always, hemp seeds. And I'm like, okay, right? So he had banana, kiwi with hemp seeds and whipping cream for this last little meal today, just a moment ago, right? Which is okay, but he's also extremely constipated, so now we're all worried he's going to start puking and go into seizure because it's just the diarrhea on the outside of the poo coming out, but it's not the actual plug of the poo itself that's not dissolving. So for as much as those drinks did, we're right back to square one, which we have to listen, people. We have to keep an eye on him, people. A baby monitor isn't going to do it, people. It's impractical. You'd have to be listening all the time and just have nothing else on your mind except what you hear on a baby monitor or I look at a computer screen. Okay? You tell me how you're going to get housework done or anything done. Oh, it doesn't... And then what? He's all by himself yet? How long do you expect to keep him by himself? He doesn't like to be by himself. He likes to be with the family, for crying out loud. Okay? So, yeah. It ain't gonna work. It's not what you think. Forget about wood rails. The plastic ones, they're not high enough, and they're also sharp, in terms of if he really wanted to, hurt him, like stick his fingers into those little... He could cut his fingers. So I put a blanket there to pencil him in, right? And sure, he throws off the blanket or whatever, but he prefers to go on the other side of the couch where there's no rail. And it's safe for him because either Andre is there or there's some kind of mat on or pillows or something on the floor. And even then, he fell, right? And it's because it's a low drop, it's not so bad. But I said to Andre, we have to make sure that blue mat now is down because he's not that bouncing baby anymore. He's getting heavier. So, he drops, right? That's where, there could be a problem. So, but, it's like, if he's by himself, Andre's running back and forth, checking on him every minute or two. I'm running back and forth, checking on him every minute or two. And all it takes is 30 seconds to leave the room for him to flip himself over and be on the other end of the couch. That's how fast he can be when he wants to be. Not to mention when he does this shit. And I told him that. They said, all that, projector on your sewing table is looking like it might be a problem. I'm looking at it, I'm saying, yeah, I just thought about that too, because he's getting bigger. Right? He's always reaching, but I'm afraid to move it because once I move it, it's going to be a big open space on my sewing table, and next thing you know, he's going to be throwing his body on my sewing table. And the woman, the seniors, got a senior social worker come by today. She goes, yeah, it's always another new creative problem. Like you have to get creative around the new problem that pops up. And I'm like, exactly. That's exactly what it is. It's those milestones that he comes into, and you have to build in those little safety nets for him. But it doesn't mean that it warrants putting him in a freaking metal cage with padding. Just because you put him in a metal cage doesn't mean he's going to be safe, because he's going to sit up and he's going to whack his head on it. And even then, the padding would have to be thick. And even then, he'd pull on it, find a way to rip it off. Like, it's not what you think. People don't, like, they don't understand. So anyway, their focus right now is the family plan. So everybody's going to get together, have a little meeting at their office, talk about, well, what happens to Judy? And then what happens to Omari and Andre if Judy should exit out because of whatever, whether I lose my eyesight completely and I myself become completely dependent, right? Or I just leave because it's my time to go, right? In terms of poof, I'm gone, nothing moves except me and everything else stays behind, right? Fair enough. And that's what that first social worker for the respite said when she called me back. Yeah, it was me who called because of, the clutter, obviously a little bit there, right? But also what you said, because I don't really have a backup plan on that one. And whose fault is that? That's the government's fault, people, because they're making housing unaffordable. And that's what I told that social worker. It's not that Tisha doesn't want him or Marcaine doesn't want him. Marcaine would do it out of duty, but it would be very difficult for him because of the lack of affordable housing. In terms of, you're paying out of your nose for nothing. And more than likely for a dump. A dump. Something with broken down this, broken down that, leaky pipes, sparking freaking outlets, leaky roof, could be anything. Because that's how these homeowners that run these houses view them as. Just something to milk to the last penny, get rich off of, and then just pawn it off to the property developers and call it a day. Yeah, that's and the social workers, they agreed. They agreed to that. Right? So, That's the issue right now in terms of who gets Amari, right? So we're going to talk about, I guess, that. If something happens to me, who's going to be the primary caregiver to Amari? Well, it depends. It depends if they can afford to look after him, being that the government doesn't want to do that, right? But they're willing to put him into foster care, put him in a little cage, right? You know, like I said, put the padding in there and he'll be crying and moving around and be a danger to himself, and then they'll drug him up and put a feeding tube into him, and that will be it. It won't be long before he's not around anymore, because his little body will give out on him, because he'll be lonely for us. He'll be isolated by himself, right? And anything could happen because the other person wasn't listening with the baby monitor or looking at the freaking camera, computer, as it, as the camera's in the crib looking down at him, because they're sure in the hell not going to do what we do. They're not going to open up their home, right? Make plans to put in a big mattress for him with a bunch of bean bags and have his nana playing the piano in the background and yada yada. They don't got time for that. They're just foster care parents, right? They're there for the money for the most part. They're not there for the love. We're here for the love, okay? Seriously. So, they're going to do the little family plan first. They can't force me to put anything in storage at this point, because then they're just ruining $1,000 dresses and stuff like that. It's just a matter of time before that happens. And even if they did that, nobody's going to use those rooms at this point. You know, if and when I can clear out the quote-unquote bedroom again, honestly, would Andre and I and Amari sleep in it? No. Andre and I, we've already discussed it. We already discussed it. It gets too hot. It gets too dry. And even if we put Amari in there, we couldn't leave him in there. One of us would have to stay with him. That's our duty. We wouldn't chance it. We'd want to be there for the seizure if it came. It doesn't matter if it takes a whole year for it to come. We want to be there. You can't assume that it won't come for a year, right? You know what I'm saying? Like Tisha. I'll use Tisha for example. She'll take Amari and Andre for a couple of two days, 2 sleepovers. So 2 nights, right? She puts Amari on, I don't know, some little bed that has that rail, because she's got the rail now, right? With Andre sleeping in there while her 2 kids sleep with her. And she's depending on Andre to hear Amari go into a seizure. What?
Working on the phone.
Hold on a minute.
I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Okay, so, yeah, I don't know what I was saying there. Okay, so the other thing is, so we're going to do a family plan in the event of something happens to me, basically, right? That's it. And in terms of the decluttering, well, I already told him I'm working on it. If Ria would have been a decent human being, I wouldn't be in this position right now, because we've already would have accomplished something by now. Okay, we would have had shit on sale online. I would have gave her a whole whack of crap, right? So that would have been gone. And yeah, right, as for the bedrooms, nobody wants to sleep in that bedroom. We already discussed it. And nobody's going to sit in there and babysit Amari just so that he can be in there basically by himself. You can't depend on baby monitors. Kiss that one goodbye. Usually, that's just an accident to wait. Oh yeah, so Tisha. So Tisha, you know, she has Amari sleeping on the bottom with the baby rail, trying to pencil him in as best as she can. With Andre, and I guess, I don't know, he's sleeping in there somewhere. And she goes to bed at night with her kids in her room. And she goes to bed worrying about Amari having a seizure with nobody being there. And she's hoping that Andre will hear it. Because she's afraid she's going to get up in the morning and find that maybe Amari died or injured himself because nobody heard him having that seizure. She wouldn't know what to do. We're Andre and I, we're on it. We know. We react immediately. And we're pretty good. We've been really spot on. That's not to say that we don't sleep all together at the same time, because sometimes we're on that schedule where I can get everybody to go to sleep. Right? And, anything could happen because Amari can have seizures when he's sleeping. Right? That has happened.
What do you need? Money?
$100. Yeah. I got to pay that guy tomorrow.
Is that it?
Yeah. maybe a bag. Get me a couple bags of chips so I can just feel sorry for myself. All right.
Okay, well, question: do you want me to use your card for the chips, or do you want me to?
Sure. Yeah. No. Give me the cash, $100, and then use the card. Do we need any eggs? We don't need bread.
No.
What? I'd buy a jug of milk. We only got one. We're gonna run out.
My backpack's gonna be full.
Fine. No problem. Don't worry about it. It's not a big deal.
Milk when we actually need it.
Okay. Tisha's coming by. She can always pick up milk before she gets here.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I'm recording, so be quiet. All right, so...
Can I get myself a bag of chips too?
Yes, you can. You deserve it. I'm proud of you, what you did with that back porch today. Yeah, that's the kind of stuff I want to see. So you get rewarded for good behavior, okay?
Yeah.
Show you took initiative. I didn't need to tell you to spray it down, and you did it anyway.
They just look really dirty.
Yeah, well, that shows that you're just... Okay. So, you know, she worried that she's going to get up in the morning and find him dead. Maybe because he had a seizure, or who knows what she's going to find because he had a seizure and maybe Andre didn't hear it.
Okay, so $100.
Yeah. Where we just react. Yeah. Where we just react. And if we're all sleeping at one time, if I'm on the couch and he starts going like this, trust me, I'm pretty sure I'd feel that. But lately, I know I've been working so hard, he's been worming his way up, like I said, and his head's right here facing out this way, right? And I'm like, I get up in the morning, I'm like, oh, Murray, what have you done? You're squishing me, you know? And I move him, and I don't feel him doing that. But I'm sure if he was shaking, I'd feel it. That would wake me up. Andre would more than likely hear it. Letitia won't hear anything. So it scares her when she goes in the morning to check on him. And she's only hoping that Andre will catch a clue for those couple of nights that he sleeps over there. So it's not that simple. You see, that's the thing. And she ain't going to put on a baby monitor and go to sleep with her kids in the bedroom hoping that the baby monitor will wake her up. Like, come on, grab a brain. You got to kind of be with him, right? All right. Okay. So with that all said, now this is what I've done. They told me to have a good weekend. They walked away because they were satisfied with what Andre and I did with that little whatever I showed you. And but I have a crisis because that's just, you know, one group of multiple gang stalkers in my opinion. Right, we got the city of Surrey, and you know that's a hard heavy sledgehammer, sledgehammer. That's a heavy sledgehammer to come down on you when it happens. That's that whip more than one on the back. It's not fun to play with. So you know, I just went back next door and I said, okay, James, you know, this is what happened. But I still need that guy to come and start with the morning glory first. So there's a guy that said, oh, okay, $50, start with that. I said, yeah, I want 3 hours of your time, nothing but morning glory. I don't care where it is. You start in the back and you work your way around. So he came over here, he looked and he goes, well, you know, I would rather do piecework. I said, well, no, it's 3 hours of morning glory to start. So you get what you can from the back and then you just work your way around because this yard is infested with freaking morning glory. Then after that, we'll talk about the X Club. I pointed to him what needed to be done. I talked about the porch. He said, don't walk on those stairs, especially the last 2 bottom stairs because they're extremely dangerous. Well, 3 because one's missing. I said, you don't think I don't know that? Okay, no problem. He said, but I can, you know, I can do repairs on them. I can look around for a few pieces of wood. I said, no, I don't think so because I got robbed of all my wood. It might be easier just to go to Home Depot and go buy some, being that you know how to fix some stairs. Maybe my landlady might pay for the wood. I don't know if she'll pay for your time. She should. But I can't wait for her to make that decision. And of course I have to pay for the roof on the porch and anything else I do on it, because she won't. So it's going to cost me more money. And we're going to, you know, I said, listen, I got this beautiful child's desk. Nice one. Because I said, you got kids? He goes, yeah. I said, how old? He got 4 of them, between 2. So the stroller that was in the hall that the social workers didn't like, I offered to give it to them, right? If you know a family could, oh no, drop it off here. Anyway, this dude said he's got a baby that's 2 months old. I said, well, Tisha doesn't want it. You can take that. So there's other parts she'll bring. So he gets he gets a stroller out of it, right? And then I said, in the X Club, there's this beautiful child's desk, because he's got like a 5 or a 6 or something, 7-year-old. I don't know. He can have the desk if he wants. It's a nice, it's a tiny tyke one. It's those big outside. It's nice for a child if he has the room. I said, you can take that with you. I have an easel in there. Maybe I'll give to him. I said, I don't know what the hell's going on with my stuff. Probably have to throw it all out. I know there's toys on the porch. So he can come help pick through the toys, and if he wants to take the toys, go home and wash them, he can have them, because they got ruined on the porch through the, with the leaking. Or anything else that we come across.
8817, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I want to make sure it was on.
Okay, but I'm recording, right?
Yeah.
So, and he said he can help maybe to do the porch, I said, I got tarp, you can staple. It's hard for me. My son doesn't have time, right? Doesn't have the patience for it. Technically, my landlord should be doing it, but it's not going to happen. So I'm going to pay this guy. So it's going to cost me a few hundred, maybe $500 or more by the time he's done. And even then, that's on the low ball, right? Some of it maybe my landlord will pay for, like if he repairs the stairs, and it's better just to buy a few. What it would be? It'd be 2 by 6s, 2 by 8s, 2 by 8s, 2 by 10s, maybe, right? Technically, he should do them all. Technically, those stairs should be replaced. Period. But it ain't gonna happen. But he said he feels confident enough that he can repair it. So I'm not going to dicker with my landlady. I'm just going to say, give me an estimate. If we need wood, I'm sure my son will go buy it. Save me the receipt. I will approach my landlady on it after the fact, and hopefully she'll take it off my rent. She won't do nothing for the porch, though, even though it ruins my shit year after year after year. But if he can leak-proof it for a little while, that would be great. Plus, he's going to do some yard work. There's something on the greenhouse that has to be repaired. He's a carpenter, so he'll know what to do. So I'll pay him for that. Right? He pointed out the shed to me in the front. I said, no, I want to keep that. I have to gut it. And you can do some repairs on that. But, the raccoons, they kind of, make a home in there, right? So I may just gut it and maybe just leave half for what I got in there with the wood for the wood carving and for the Dremel tool stuff, and the other half, I don't know, just leave it. I don't know yet, because even if I try and raccoon proof it, if the raccoons want to get in it bad enough, they'll get in it, and I'd rather them be in that shed than in the X Club. And for all I know, maybe the raccoons have already been in the X Club. I haven't looked in there for quite a long time, but even if they didn't, if there's so much water damage in there, well, we're going to find out, people. We're going to find out what I have to throw out, okay? And there's children's stuff in there, non-profit stuff in there, craft stuff in there. If some of it's salvageable, he can take it home to his family and he can let his kids if he wants it. If not, it's going in the fucking garbage. Yeah, that's just garbage. Life is garbage. You accumulate, and it ends up just becoming other people's right to pillage it, and what they don't want in their mind is garbage. So I'm really hoping this guy, he says he likes to work. It's not a problem. Like, he works hard, and he's not going to dicker around. Because I told James, if the guy dickers around, I don't want to deal with it. I want somebody that just comes in, does what they're supposed to do, and be done with it, right? You know what I'm saying? Because, it's always my landlady, we'll get somebody that's homeless to do it. Get it on the cheap. Get it cheap. I said, well, gee, if you know how to do this, do that. Do you think you can fix that freaking gutter? I've been only asking for how many years? Maybe if it stopped being a torrent when the rains come, that bedroom that mildews up because of all that water that saturates that corner might start to go away. But no, you'd have to rip up the whole freaking carpets and the underlay and maybe even the stupid floorboards because it's under the cement. That's what it is. It's under the floorboards. They didn't put that plastic on cement to prevent it from sweating and mildewing between the cement and the floorboards. And because that gutter has been running for 14 years like a freaking water fountain, more like a river, a raging river, you know, it's just a hot spot, but that's life, right? I'm not worried about that, I know, but I don't need the city riding my ass. So I'm looking at anywhere between $5,000 to, I suppose, $1,000, depending on what I want done and how much my landlord expects me to pay for things that honestly I shouldn't have to pay for. Like when it comes to the roof of this porch, the leaking all the way down through the whatever, just whatever. And then we'll see what happens. We'll just see what happens. I told him I'm not in a position to move out right now. I have to pay down my bills. I'm at a point where I don't have to buy a lot of groceries outside of the bare bones. Milk, eggs, butter, cottage cheese, whipping cream, apples and oranges or bananas and stuff like that. And a few fruits and vegetables and fresh meat sometimes. Or like what I just did with the chicken claws and the fish bones with the fish skin. And that's for a specific reason. Yeah. I don't need it. And now and I said, you're evicting me from my house. Oh, no, we're not. I said, yes, you are. Just stage 2 from what the city did in January. No, we're not. I said, yes, you are. You know, where do you expect me to go? Someplace smaller than this so that you can come back and start all over again? Well, you can go get a lawyer if you want. I said, yeah, and what? Go to OnlyFans, right? You know what I'm saying? Is that what you want? I looked at her, I said, as if I want to go get a lawyer. And then what? Do OnlyFans to pay for the lawyer? Because you know I'm not going to be happy with a legal aid one. Because you have to come in and if you're going to fight, you need to fight hard, man. You need more than one lawyer to fight the corruption within the Ministry of Children and Family Development when they want their way and not be held to account. And then I reminded them what they did to Andre and how they took Andre and what happened to his mother and yeah, they didn't like that, but that's the fact. What they did is they ruined. They are an instrument to the death of Shemay and the death of my daughter because of what that one social worker did. Yeah, by kicking Sierra out. It changed the whole dynamics in the house. Made everybody suicidal, put Shemay downstairs in the basement where that wasn't even her room, and Sierra was going in and out, doing her stupid fucking drugs with Austin, thinking it was still her room, as we're trying to shoo her out, but it didn't work. Well, Shemay got whatever, even though she was in school, she was still pulling in honors, and then what? She met a Julian Johnson! And then what happened? If she would have stayed in her room, she would never have met Julian, and she'd be alive today. Think about that one. So yeah, if Shemay could have stayed in her room instead of going downstairs and having it sit empty for 15 months because nobody could use it because we had to prove to the social workers that if they gave us back Andre as we were going to court, right? Because every time we went to court, we always thought we were going to get back Andre. But that wasn't the game. The game was to keep him, wear us down, so that after 18 months, they can say that, yada yada yada, and put him up for adoption. Right? That's why that lawyer, before that all happened, told me to put in a custody order application. And that was the monkey wrench into that adoption plan. And they didn't think that the family would fight as hard as we did, because we all fought. Everybody went to court. Right? When they could go, they went. All right? Mark Hain, Uncle John, Shemay, Tisha, a whole bunch of friends, Sierra. And of course, I went 22 times, right? And it got real close to the trial, and they didn't want it to go to trial because they knew what they did was wrong. So they, come on, take this deal. blah, 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 blah. But all it did was open up some kind of, I don't know, Pandora box where they feel that they can just come in every couple, 2-3 years based on some allegation of this or allegation of that and do whatever it is that they do so that, you're shaking in your boots, basically, second guessing yourself. And even when you calm down and, get back on track, it just starts up again. Right? Yeah. But yeah, no, Shimei, if she could have stayed in her room, she would have finished school earlier than she did. Well, actually, she finished school, but she ended up working. She should have finished school and then went right into college for nursing. But because of the dynamics in the house and just whatever, she decided to work, and she was working at McDonald's. And even McDonald's strung her along. They had her working, and then they got her on with the medical and the dental, and so she decided to keep working, and she was going to try and save money to go to college to be that nurse, right? And but then they turned around and they started cutting back on her hours, and yada yada. And then she met Julian. That's what happened. Yeah, and because she was stuck downstairs, which that's not where she wanted to be, right? She made a bad choice by hooking up with Julian. And she was depressed, I guess, and I tried to tell her, get rid of him. He's a bad seed. He's not doing anything good for you, Shmei. And she was still working, right? Right? I told her, and then she got pregnant. And then she had an abortion, and I don't know. I heard that she had more than one or two, right? So I don't know. I'd have to get her medical files on that one. But with Amari, I pleaded and I begged for her to keep Amari, like the baby, right? The fetus. I said, just don't worry about Julian. Like, okay, I don't want to have the baby because Julian's a butthead. He doesn't want to stop selling drugs. I'm going to have an abortion. Shmei, you already had enough. That's enough. It's okay. You don't have to be with Julian. You have the baby, right? But, so she did. And they fucking killed her because they thought Amari was normal. 7 months old, they thought he was normal, and they thought that they could just come in and scoop him up, call social services on me, accuse me of this, accuse me of that. Social services showed up at court, right? And they said, no, we're backing away on this one. And, the way I see it is they didn't want to get into the fight, and stand on any side at that point because they didn't want the $4,000 financial responsibility around Amari as we were coming into his diagnoses. Because he was already showing symptoms at the time of his birth with the shaking of something wrong. Yeah. Because you have to remember, we're dealing with people that interconnect with each other through, I don't know what kind of freaking network they're working on, but they're not all up they crack to be sometimes. And, yeah. So I had to duke it out in court with Julian, and in the end, he abandoned Amari. I have proof of that with that recording with that cousin. Well, we've got Julian Johnson's sister, Tamika Johnson Dixon, still running around stalking my house with her little thumbs down on every video that I put up on YouTube as she pops in and out every now and then with her stupid little videos. Yeah, well, at least we're here for Amari, not those people. So the family plan is a good thing because I'm not going to recommend them calling up any of those people because they haven't done not one damn thing for Amari. No. They dropped the ball a long time ago. They dropped the ball when the mother got into that car accident, that fake car accident, and got her buyout. That's when she dropped the ball. I don't want to see Amari. Oh no, I want to see Amari, but Judy doesn't want me to see him. So I'm just not going to see him no more. Yeah, that's right. You rolled up in my house in a brand new vehicle knowing that you were going to get, $450,000 from ICBC as you're running around my front yard like some gangster bitch as you go back to ICBC saying, oh, I'm so injured. Yeah, this is a legitimate claim. But yet you're acting like a gangster bitch out my fucking front yard, posturing with that stupid vehicle that they gave you to replace the one you had before. I don't think so. No, I don't think so. If that social worker would never have kicked out Sierra when they did, life would be a whole lot different. I'd have my daughters alive today. Oh, yeah. They wouldn't have a leg to stand on. Nope. And it's just a repeat. Only they gotta be careful because I'm not stupid. Yeah, I'm not stupid. I mean, I wouldn't win anyway, but I'm not stupid. Alright? Just because. Because I'm up against corruption, that's why. So they're trying to smooth it over by, oh, well, we just want to, have a future plan. Yeah, okay. Well, I don't know what kind of future plan you're going to have if there's no affordable housing. Right. And if you're harassing me over this place, oh, God forbid, I could only imagine what it's going to be like in the next place. With nothing in it. And still not enough room. Yeah, I'm just saying. Or not enough people involved when it comes to Amari's care. Right? Or even my care for that matter. Right? But as it is, there's really not much they can say right now because for whatever I struggle with, I push past it, people. I really do. And, it's draining. It's hard on the brain because your brain is always in overdrive, right? But I accomplish something every day. Some days more, other days less. It depends on my energy level or what I'm doing. But, it's not time to pack up yet. What it is to figure out where to begin selling things and how to sell it. They asked me, well, are you going to put stuff on Facebook Market? I said, well, yeah, of course, but Andre's the one that's going to be running my Facebook page. He can't. He tried to set up a Facebook page and try and see if he could sell maybe things on Facebook. He can't. But he can tap into, he can manage my account. But I told him I have to get a computer for my room. It's a laptop. Because this one here with this Windows 11 doesn't have, I don't know, he says he can't, it's too hard to work with. He'd rather do it on the laptop. So I got to dig out the laptop. Because I put the laptop in. I know where it is. I just have to dig it out, right? And I figure we'll do that in the wintertime. After the yard is done, the basement's done, after the kitchen's more cleared out. Because that's what I want, right? You know what I'm saying? And then that's when I hire somebody else. Well, we can have our people come in. They're certified. I said, why? Why would I want government work? Oh, they're not us. It was just other people. No, it's okay. I'll take a chance with this other woman first. If she doesn't work out, then I'll call you. I gave Rhea a shot. She shot herself in the foot. This other woman, her name is Winnie. If Winnie can't handle what I need in terms of whatever it is that we're doing, if she doesn't like it and doesn't want to do it or whatever, then fine. Then maybe I'll consider, well, maybe I need somebody else. And what? Sort out clothes so we can hang them up and put, how much we Google to see if it's vintage and if it is approximately how much, as if I'd have a government worker come in and help me with that. That doesn't make any sense, right? But they kept insisting that they could do that and they're not technically government workers. And I'm like, okay, I don't know about that, right? And then, of course, Andre will run my Facebook page. And then we might go as far as, putting it on eBay. And, I've looked at a couple of other sites where we can maybe sell things, yada-yada. I'm not trying to start a business here, so I got to be careful what site I hook up to. Plus, it gives them an opportunity to put things in a box and tape it up and put a label on it and take it to the post office and weigh it and, ship it out. And those are skills that he can learn over a period of time, whether they're homeschool books, craft material, frickin' clothes, could be fabric, could be toys for all I know. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's where we're at with it. At this point, I still somewhat have housing security. I have to bring down my bills. I look and I admit when I go online, I always search. Like, it doesn't matter if I'm on Walmart or if I'm Canadian. I'm going to leave it on this note, right? Because I told these women today, for every cloud there's a silver lining, and like I've been telling Andre for months, we need to work on decluttering this house, Andre. I need you to help me to take more care when you're doing things in the kitchen versus throwing your this and throwing, you know how I've been saying he does that, right? You know, you got to learn how to multitask. If you're going to cook, you got to learn how to clean as you go. Or I don't need to tell you to take out the garbage. It's something that it's just a given you should do. You know, just little, you know, right? Do your laundry, just whatever it is, right? You know, I mean, he's only, boys are late bloomers, so, you know, it's going to take him a little time to catch up. And so with what's been going on, I said, yeah, at least he is taking it more serious now. Right, in terms of the importance of doing that daily grind when it comes to chores and housework, and just, you know, I tell him, whether you're looking after Amari or helping to look after Amari later on in life, or whether you're on your own or you get married like Marcane and you have a wife, sooner or later you're going to have to do your fair share when it comes to housework, right? Well, so now he's kind of cluing into it, right? There's a little more pep to his step. Like, he started cleaning the living room, and I came in here, he goes, I'm doing what you do. I said, well, what is it that I do? I'm starting in the corner, Nana, and I'm working my way out. That was after the kids came the last time they were here, because they scatter from one end to the other end, all the way in through there, right? I said, exactly. You start in one corner, and you just start, and make sure you go underneath the drums, and, you know, you go underneath the couch, and for the most part, he did pretty good. Yeah, I'm doing what you do, Nana. Well, what is it that I do, Andre? What do you think you start in the one corner, you just start pushing everything this way. I said, exactly. If you just keep on working, you know, and don't forget the corners, right? So that's a milestone right there. Today, a milestone. I didn't have to tell him to spray down the porch. He did that for himself. I said, why are you spraying the porch down? Oh, well, because this, and this. I'm like, oh, well, gee, I'm proud of you. Like, I didn't even have to ask you. That's what I want you to grow up to be, where you don't have to be asked. You can see it needs to be done, you do it. So that's that silver lining in what's going on with that cloud that's over us right now. And I told that to the social workers, you know, for all this cloudiness, there is a silver lining in there where Andre is, you know, taking things more serious and taking more personal initiative to be a part of the solution when it comes to keeping the house clean. And as for the decluttering, well, I've been working on that for a long time, but I don't have a lot of room to work with, right? Especially when things are being thrown out and I'm having to bring things in, regardless of how those things are being thrown out, right? And the last bout with Surrey, City of Surrey with the yard, that was a big hit on me, not to mention what Rhea did in mixing everything up, where it put me back like months and months and months just to reorganize the mess that she made, as well as to top off. Because I had to buy, I spent hundreds and hundreds of dollars. I spent like $2,000 just to compensate for what that girl took from me when it came to food. I bought sockeye salmons, I bought hams, right? You know what I'm saying? Just to top off what she stole from me. I bought extra chocolate, whatever it was. Yeah. And then I had to put it away. And some of it, I'm not, you know, I'm at the tail end of everything. Yeah. So, you know, that's where we're at with it right now. And this little guy, he's happy. He's safe, he's clean, he's fed, he's loved. He has freedom. He can be a Houdini baby if he wants, or he can just be a little jelly bean who likes to chill. You know what I'm saying? Right? Yeah. One day, he's going to have a big king-size mattress with a whole bunch of bean bags. With Nana there playing the piano. Maybe Alea May playing the electric drums. With Kyrie playing the guitar. With Andre recording everybody. I'm just saying, because he likes to record music, right? You know, right? And I guess Uncle Marcane might be cooking. Depends. Or maybe it might even be Auntie Tisha, but I doubt it, because we can't afford the housing. Not really. None of us can afford $4,000, $4,500 for a up and down bungalow with no housing security. because they're tearing it down for something that's even less affordable, with less space. Yeah. As social workers use children as a tool to mold an agenda. And I call them on it. Whether they're watching my videos, because I said, you watch my videos. Well, you've been watching my videos? Why are you telling me to go get a lawyer? I said, did you watch my video? Is that why you're telling me? What choices do you give me? Right? And then that's when I brought up OnlyFans. Is that what you expect me to do? Because it ain't going to be 22 times later. Hell no. No. Not to lose yet. Because it will be my last fight. Yeah. As my kids are screaming at me that I want to fight. No, I don't want to fight. But I'll fight if I have to. Yeah. I'm not just going to go fake the funk and come back and act like a gangster bitch and then roll off and turn my back on my family, so-called family, so that I can be greedy and have things for myself. You don't think I don't want to have time to sew or do this or do that or do the things that I want to do? I haven't done the things that I've wanted to do basically since I moved into this house. I said to Andre, though, and I'm going to leave it on this note, I said to Andre, though, I said, though, Andre, we're getting real close. We're getting real close where there's going to come a time, if you do your share, I do my share, right? There's going to come a time when we are going to be able to get into the sewing room and you're going to start to learn how to sew. Nana might be able to make a few do-rags, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, nothing too fancy, something easy. And as you learn, yada yada, until such time we move. And then when we move, if we live with Marcane, well, the only thing that I would want from Marina is to make sure that Andre has his little sewing space with my belongings for the most part. I'm not saying she has to keep each and every piece of fabric, but I got some, I got some nice stuff in there, like beads and sequins and appliques and beautiful buttons, and I got everything you could possibly want when it comes to a sewing room. So she'd be foolish to chuck it out, especially if Andre wants to learn how to sew. So wherever we go, if we're living with Marcane and Marina, I don't care. Marina, I'm a sewer. I know what it means to have a sewing room. So, I'd want the best for you as long as you can squeeze in a, 2 desks for Andre, for his serger and his machine. You guys can share the sewing table, and yeah, let him learn. Like maybe Alea May might want to come and sew, but don't have no social workers come in and tell me to start getting rid of my sewing just because. No. I do plan on selling fabric. I have to wait until it's more organized. Whether in bulk or whether singularly. I might do it in bulk. I might do it by single, and then that's when I'll teach Andre how to measure it. And with whatever Marina's doing downstairs, she prints everything else all nice. I can tell what she's doing, right? She got her little labels going on there, on the outside of her bucket. So, and then on her fabric, she staples it on, right? In mine, I have labels, but mine were always handwritten. Not everything, but some things. And that wasn't because I was selling, it was because I was sewing for strippers, that's why. So if I bought 3 meters of this, it'd be 3 meters at the price, and I'd write down what the fabric was, right? Whether it was velour, or just whatever, but, it's like whatever. So that's where I'm at with all this social worker stuff, right? And I've hired a man, hopefully he'll be true to his word. He's a family man, got 4 children and a wife. Clearly he needs the extra cash. I can only afford so much, so I hope that my landlady pays her fair share when it comes to certain repairs anyway, on the outside of the house. At least the stairs. She really should help to pay for the porch, but it depends on what we do with it, right? And right now I just want to get some tarps up so that the water runs on an angle and goes off onto the, right? even if it works for a year or two. I got a really thick. I paid like over $100 for those tarps. So and they're good tarps. They can really handle weather changes. Yeah. So it should work. And he says he works fast and hard. So that would be good. So I'm really keeping my fingers crossed on that one. Well, Andre is, he's still kicking his feet a little bit, but he's taking now more serious about becoming more of a more responsible human being when it comes to either, I don't know about cleaning up after himself, but at least cleaning, because, he'll still leave his dirty dish over there, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, what am I looking at? And I'm like, Andre, why is that plate there with a bunch of old food on it? I told you to stop doing that. Yeah, well, I was tired last night, and I just put it there, and, okay. But I was so proud of him today when he washed that down and didn't even have to ask him. He went out and he got the hose and the new nozzle that I bought. Yeah. Well, this little guy is just waiting for me to leave so he can hang off the couch and be that little Houdini baby. You're getting me into trouble with these social workers. You're getting me into trouble. What is it with grandkids always getting me into trouble with these social workers? Oh, I went next door to go take James. I'm looking for... did you find somebody to do the yard? Oh, what's going on? And I'm like, I got social workers riding my ass. Social workers? What do you mean by so? And I'm like, yeah, grandkids. You have grandkids, and that's what happens. You get the social workers coming in. It's not the first time they've been around. Ever since I got Andre, I had to fight with social workers. Yeah, he loves this. He loves this. Yeah. But you're constipated. You got one big ball of something stuck in there, and that scares the pants off me. Oh yeah, it scares the pants off. It scares the pants off of Andre too. This is where you gotta get that heart of steel. Yeah, we know, but we love you. We'll go that million miles for you. Yes, you get to a point where you'd go a million miles. You'd go a million miles, but then at some point you have to, everybody has human rights, You're too little to go to jail. There's no metal crib for you, not on my watch. There's no metal crib for you, not on my watch. You get to be a free little bird. You're a free little bird. Yeah. That's the one thing that we gave him, Ari. We gave him freedom. Yeah, in his own little realm, we gave him freedom. Yeah, and he loves it. Yes, he does. Yeah, I'm just tickling him. He's just loving it. He's just loving it. Yeah, okay, that's enough. We don't want to... You want more? Do you want more? Yeah. A little more? Yeah, I won't overdo it. I'm tickling him. No more. That's enough. Just a little bit of tickles. Where's your bear? Where did your bear go? Where's your talking bear? Does this one work? I don't think so. I think the batteries need to be changed on this one. Yeah, batteries need to be changed on this one. Oh, no, it works.
Bonjour, mon ami.
It's a little French one.
Violette. Bonjour.
That's another thing.
Je m'appelle Violette.
Okay, let's imagine him being in the bedroom. Just imagine this. He's penciled in. I don't know what kind of freaking railing you'd have to use, but it couldn't be a standard baby gate. And it sure in hell couldn't be a standard bed rail. No way. You'd have to have it right up, okay? And it would have to be metal or a hard plastic. And the rungs would have to be very close to each other, because otherwise he could get his fingers caught, or his hand, or, right? You know how you can put your fingers in between something, but you can't get it out? And then the paramedic or the fire department has to come and cut out the, right? In order to get... Amari would do that, so... But anyway, he's in the bedroom, and you were successful at caging him in. I don't know how to explain it any other way. And you got that baby monitor on him, whether it's the listening kind or the looking kind. It wouldn't matter. And he's playing with his bear. Okay?
Attrape mes pattes.
right? He's playing with his little bear. And, what do you call it? He goes into seizure mode. He goes into seizure mode. Do you honestly think you're going to hear him with this making noise like this? Tell me how you're going to hear him going into seizure mode if he's in a room encased in you know, with railing, which would have to be more than likely padded to some degree. Okay, right? Would you hear anything? That's what I mean. It's not that simple. There you go. It's not that simple. It's not worth the risk. No. Why I think one of the reasons why he doesn't have brain damage, because seizures can create, I'm going to end it on this. I know I keep saying that. Doctors, you know, like the last few times, the last doctor, he said, oh, you know, Amari's not, you know, like, you know, is he acting like his normal self, blah, 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 after you wake? Yeah, he is. Oh, good, no brain damage. And brain damage? He goes, yeah, seizures, you know, they can create brain damage. And I'm like, holy crumb, right? You know, like if you have enough of them or they're long enough or whatever, you know, I contribute to just the fact that we're on it, like within the first 3 to 5 minutes from discovering this, you know, coming into contact with the seizure, and then of course whatever, and you know, like we've been lucky. And it's not easy, but you learn to adapt around the special needs, which ends up creating special needs around you. Well, it's not special needs. We have special circumstances where Amari is the special needs. Amari has special needs which requires special circumstances to be adapted from the caregivers, which, depending on who's doing what, you may end up losing a large part of your life. Yeah. In other words, I have, much as I've been wanting to sew, I mean, obviously I can't because I'm in the daily routine of laundry and this and that. But that's not to say that I can't open up the sewing room soon enough once the main things get done around here. And I can, you know, I want to sew some do-rags, right? I think that's still recording. And, you know, just little things like that. And show Andre how to make Amari some pants. And just get him started on some simple stuff, right? Because it's easy, right? And once Andre gets a hang of it, you know, if he likes it, great. Go for it. If he doesn't like it, he doesn't have to continue on with it, right? Okay, so I'm out of here. Wait a minute. I'm back. Comfort food. This is when you wallow in self-pity. You go get yourself some jalapeno chips, Miss Vicky's. And then Andre got, what did he get? Lay's. Barbecue. Oh yeah. He got me barbecue. So between the two of them, I switch them around. And then, of course, he bought something for himself. Probably Doritos or something. And this is where we all hang out in the living room. Andre eats his chips. I eat my chips. Amari gets his drink or his juice or whatever he gets. Whatever, right? Food or whatever. And we just all chill. Yeah. That's what we do. That's what I'll be doing. And then tomorrow I'm going to get up. Hopefully this guy will show up. Yeah, start with the morning glory in the back. I said, I don't care. However long it takes, I just want 3 hours of morning glory. Nothing but morning glory. Start in the back. If you get that done in an hour and a half, then go to the front and just keep on going around the whole freaking house. I'd be surprised if you could get all that morning glory out in 3 hours. Yeah, I know what it's like. That's hard work too. Yeah. Morning Glory can get thick, very thick, but this is a guy, so he's stronger than me. But even still, you have to pull it. And it doesn't like to break sometimes, because, you know, some of these roots, I said, as you're pulling, you gotta look for the roots and pull out as many roots as you can, because they can get as thick as my baby pinky. Yeah. So I gotta give them some clippers just in case. Yeah.
I witnessed something at Nestor's today.
Huh?
I witnessed something at Nestor's.
What?
Someone stole. Right in front of
Somebody
me.
stole?
Yeah, right in front of me.
Oh my God, what happened?